This video contains graphic images. Your discretion is advised.
Mark Redwine is accused of killing his 13-year-old son Dylan during a court-ordered visit over Thanksgiving weekend back in 2012.
Go just into 7 News from the DurangoHerald.com, and it shows deputies executing a search warrant at the home of Dylan Redwine's father near Durango.
In 2012, Dylan Redwine was a 13-year-old boy living with his mother Elaine and brother Corey in Monument, Colorado. His parents had divorced, and so he had court-ordered visits to his father Mark Redwine, who lived in Plata County, a rugged and mountainous area of southwest Colorado. However, Dylan did not enjoy these visits, and in fact had avoided seeing his father for months. This was due to an incident which had occurred at his father's home the year prior. This incident had ruined both the relationship and the image that Dylan had of his father. In June of 2011, Dylan had visited his father's home with his older brother Corey, and had been using their father's laptop when the boys had accidentally discovered some disturbing images on there. As Mark Redwine slept, the boys locked themselves in the bathroom to look more closely at the shocking images. There on the screen was their father Mark dressed in a wig and women's lingerie. In his hands he was holding what appeared to be a dirty diaper. As the boys flicked through the images, it became clear that their father was eating the contents inside the diaper. Dylan's brother Corey saved these images to his phone, and from this point on, Dylan would never look at his father the same. Over the coming year, he had grown more distant and avoided seeing Mark more and more, wondering whether to confront him about what he had seen. On November 19, 2012, thanks to a court order, Dylan was forced to visit his father for Thanksgiving. Dylan's mother, Elaine, was reluctant to send her son, seeing how upset and uncomfortable he had become in Mark's presence. However, her attorney told her she could face prosecution if Dylan did not fly out to see his father. Dylan had asked his brother Corey to send him the images that he saved to his phone. Dylan had finally worked up the courage to confront his father. Sadly, Dylan would never again return home. On November 18, 2012, Mark Redwine collected his son at the Durango La Plata County Airport, and surveillance footage from the airport and a Walmart in Durango showed hardly any personal interaction between Mark and his son. Dylan had wanted to spend the night of his arrival at a friend's house, but Mark had refused, and they both stayed at his house that evening. Through text messages, Dylan had arranged to visit his friend's house at 6:30 a.m. the next morning, and his last communication with anyone on his phone that night was at 9:37 p.m. when Dylan's friend texted him at 6:46 a.m. on November 19th asking where Dylan was. He received no response. Dylan's case quickly received national media attention, sparking a massive search and rescue operation. In the following days after his son's disappearance, Mark appeared to act in a way that was unusual for any parent whose child had disappeared. He avoided leaving his home, did not make any attempt to look for or contact his son, and did not seek help from the media to attempt to contact his son, to plead for his return, or negotiate with any potential kidnappers. Volunteer search teams and authorities began scouring the area around Mark's home for months. The search proved to be difficult since Durango is at an elevation of 6,512 feet, with steep canyons and mountains. Unfortunately, despite attempts to locate him, Dylan could not be found, and there were no leads as to where he may have gone. Months passed by with no clues, devastating his mother and brother. On January 31, 2013, Mark Redwine gave an exclusive televised interview with News, CUSA, where he stated that he blames himself for his son's disappearance. He stated that his son was asleep when he woke up that morning, and that he returned from errands to find him gone. Sadly, the case would only gain media interest once again on June 26, 2013, when bones, a part of Dylan's shirt, and a sock in a secluded spot on Middle Mountain, around 8 miles from Mark's home, were found. After being sent off to be tested, it was concluded that the remains did, in fact, belong to missing Dylan Redwine. Searchers found his remains in an area difficult to get to, especially for a young boy, or for someone who doesn't know the area well. It was suspected that foul play had been involved. Mark Redwine was later being named a person of interest, and his son's cause of death was declared as undetermined. Investigators also found Dylan's blood inside Redwine's residence in several different locations. Cadaver dogs picked up death scents in the laundry room, living room, and kitchen. Mark denied any involvement in his son's death. It would not be until 2 years later, on November 1st, 2015, when Dylan's skull was found, with the autopsy reports showing that his cause of death was actually blunt force trauma to the head. Almost 2 years later, on July 22, 2017, Mark Redwine was arrested in Bellingham, Washington, charged with second-degree murder and child abuse in regards to Dylan's death. After several postpones, Redwine's trial began on June 14, 2021. The defense argued that the blood found in Mark's kitchen was infinitesimally small and could have happened to anyone who lives in a house. Defense attorney John Moran added that dog-sniffing death scent techniques are junk science. Despite Mark Redwine's defense attempting to explain Dylan's death as an accident after he ventured off and either died from the elements or from an animal attack, Mark was found guilty of all charges on July 16th after the disturbing Polaroids came to light and were shown to the jury. It was determined that Mark Redwine had murdered his son in a fit of rage after being confronted about the images. On October 8th, he was sentenced to 48 years in prison. Dylan's brother, Corey Redwine, said the past 9 years have been nothing short of misery. Over the years, he said, he thought about what he could have done to protect Dylan from his own father. "I can't bring Dylan back," Corey Redwine told the judge. "I can't talk to Dylan, so I pray to him. I dream of him. Dylan is my hero and became more of a man in 13 years than Mark became in 60. If you liked the video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.